Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Blitz Growth. Super excited to have Bernadette here today. If you haven't already, make sure you give us some comments and tell us how much you're going to love this or have loved this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. But today, there is so much learnings to be had from Bernadette. She's extremely impressive music teacher. She's taken her teaching online to social platforms, to places like Patreon and other places to really help grow her business, her content, her skill set. She's got hundreds of amazing 5-star reviews plus on all of her trainings. She's a very impressive music teacher in that regard. And what we're really focusing on is the skill set of managing a Patreon account, monetizing content, and really getting very creative with how you can monetize your passion, your following, your audience, and turn that into your full-time career. So Bernadette, super excited to have you here. And I would love to dive in and first off, start with, how you got started, who you are, what got you into music teaching and, where you are now.
Hi. Well, thank you so much for having me. It truly is an honor. This is the first time that I'm really doing something like this on a podcast. I do this all the time with my friends. Whenever I find someone that has talent or I see talent in my friends, I give them more than just a push and a nudge to start creating content and get out there, because this applies, and hopefully my journey will apply to anyone that does anything in the market. It doesn't have to be someone who is in the music field. And I got started with 2 failed YouTube channels. One was a travel channel, and the second one was about my life in Japan. I was teaching out in Japan, and I thought everyone wants to see what my journey is like in Japan. And the only video that got any views was the one where I shared my onsen experience, because, like, in Japan, everyone's fully nude. And I thought, okay, this is not the audience that I want to appeal to. Like, I'm not going to go and try out all these onsens, like the hot baths, and talk about it. This is not me. So I was really defeated. And then over the winter break from teaching, because I used to be a elementary school teacher at the time, I just felt that in, like, my core that I needed to make a YouTube channel. And of course, like, I had this, maybe it wasn't revelation, maybe it was common sense that said, like, teach music. That's what you know how to do. And it was like, duh, well, that's what I studied. That's what I studied at Cal Poly, and that's what I do now. But in my mind, I knew that my YouTube channel was going to help me leave my regular job. So I thought it had to be something different. I didn't think that I could do the same thing at my job and on my channel. And so I started consuming as many audiobooks as I could, because my commute to my work was 45 minutes. And so I downloaded audiobooks on um, being a charming person, making friends, being sociable, on business, on finance, on everything that I could consume. I just wanted to learn it all. And one of the business books that I downloaded said that, and this is common, this is known, that most businesses fail in the first 5 years. What I didn't know was the second half of that is that the businesses who make it past those 5 years have really high rates of success. So I thought, oh, I just need to keep going for 5 years. And if I make it 5 years, then I'll have it made. And 5 years didn't sound like a long time, because, that's about how long it takes to get a degree nowadays. So I was like, oh, you just do it like a degree and then you're good at it. So I started making videos consistently, and I promised myself that I wouldn't put any money into the business, that it would just be my time. So I used my iPhone 4S, which is what I had to make the videos. I didn't have a microphone, and I was using iMovie, which was the free software on my computer at the time. And I told myself, if this makes any money, then I'll use that money to reinvest back into it. So I started making videos, and the first month that I made any money, I think it was 25 cents. And you know what? Those 25 cents felt better than my I think I was making like 2,500 a month teaching. I was like, that felt better.
Yeah.
Like it was so satisfying. And so
And how long did it take you to get to that point? Sort of like from your first video to your first 25 cents or
I
first
I
money
think it
made on
was,
YouTube, I suppose.
yeah, back then it used to be easier to get monetized. You just needed to get an AdSense account and
Mhm.
connect yourself. I think it took maybe like 3, 4 months because
Wow. Yeah,
the
that is quick.
it was quick because I was finally making content about something I knew what like to talk about, you know?
Mm.
And even those two failed YouTube channels that I had before, I had tried to start one of them and I felt so dumb talking to the camera by myself that I like stopped and I didn't retry again for another year because I felt so dumb. I was like, this is really dumb. Like nobody cares what you have to say. Everybody says this
Mm.
though. But once I started talking about music education, the channel started to gain some traffic. I thought my traffic was going to be other music teachers because I was talking about my experience teaching and things that I was learning
Mhm.
along the way. I was teaching ukulele to elementary children. And at the time, in your coursework for university, you get trained on how to teach like wind instruments and string instruments, maybe even choral. And the elective class is guitar or recorder, like the little flute.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I used to play
nobody,
that, I remember.
exactly, exactly. And so nobody was teaching about how to teach ukulele. And I thought, oh, this is how I'm
Okay.
going to make it. Like
So you
everyone's,
found a niche.
I thought I did. It wasn't music teachers. It was people wanting to learn ukulele. They're like, "Hey,
Huh.
you're actually a good teacher." Because I was like, "Teachers, this is how you're going to teach. Let me give a sample lesson." Well, people were watching the sample lesson to actually learn from me. And they're like, "Hey, can you do this song next?" And I was like, "Who are you? Like, are you a music teacher?" No, I just want to learn. So I thought, it's no, of course not. I'm not gonna do that. And I continued like trying to teach teachers. Nobody was watching that. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna teach one chord per video, and I'm gonna make my video less than a minute long because it's not so much commitment. If there's a new person, like, because we all have the creators we like, right? And I thought, no one's going to want to listen to me if I talk for 5 minutes. So I'm going to make the videos like as short as possible. And I went and got a new haircut and I would do my hair and makeup. Like, I'm like, I have to look presentable. Like, they're, because that's the thumbnail, you know, it's like an album cover. So, like, they, if it's a short video time and if the thumbnail looks good, I'm like, okay, people are going to watch it. And then I started analyzing my own behavior watching videos. And I realized that I hated when creators talked for a half hour before they got to the point of the video. So I made it a challenge to get to the point of the video within 10 seconds. And so I would just restate the title of the video, which confirms to the listener, okay, this is why I clicked here. And then I just got started, like teaching. And so in a very short amount of time, they got someone who is professionally looking, you know, because I was put together. The thumbnail and the title of the video matched the content, and I got right to it. And I only taught one thing. And because I'm only teaching one thing, I would say something, for example, like put your ring finger on the third fret that's closest to the floor. And make that string ring first. Okay, if that rings, great. If it doesn't, wiggle the finger around until you get a ringing note. And now you can strum the whole instrument, and that's C chord. And then I would say, you're done. And so people are like,
Wow.
oh, so then they started binge
Next.
watching my content. Exactly. Exactly. So if anyone is thinking about starting to make content, please, please, please don't exhaust the first 10 seconds talking
Mhm.
about why you made the video. They really don't care. They just
Yeah.
want to get the answer to the question.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. And your watch rate and your engagement rate was probably through the roof because they were so short and everybody was probably completing the video. So
Mhm.
YouTube probably thought, hey, this is great content. Everybody's watching it. We should show this to more people.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, the engagement rate on videos and the watch rate I know is very, very important.
Mhm.
Um, and I suppose that really helped. So essentially, there's a bunch of learnings from that. One, you found kind of like something you're passionate about versus making content around stuff you didn't really like or
Mhm.
weren't passionate about. And then you also kind of found a niche within the music teaching community. And then who your ideal customer was or ideal follower wasn't actually who you thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
So many
Exactly.
interesting things out of that.
Thank you. I really had to learn to listen to the audience and the content that I wanted to make, which was traveling in Japan or whatever, wasn't what people wanted to consume. What people wanted to consume was what I was qualified to talk about. And then I had to ask myself that question, like, well, do I want to be a YouTuber or do I want to talk about what I want to talk about? And I decided for me, it was no, I want to be a YouTuber because one day I would love to be able to do this full time. So I didn't necessarily think, I didn't attach myself to the first ideas that I had. I was willing to adapt to what the audience wanted. And within what the audience wanted, I was able to create what I wanted too. And so, if for anyone creating content, know that if somebody's clicked on your video to watch it, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever, your video is answering a question that they have. And you have the first few seconds to answer that question. And if you're not answering the question, they're going to leave and they're going to go to someone who really does answer the question. So your titles should, or your captions should be phrased in a way that answers a real human question. Like, how do you play ukulele? How do you play your first chord for ukulele? Well, then your title should be how to play your first chords on ukulele. Like, it sounds so simple, but simple isn't always easy, right? So, and then when the
Simple's
video
hard.
starts, exactly, when the video starts, today you're going, and it really should be you. Like, when you should use the word you so much in your content, not I. Today, I'm going to teach you. Today, you're going to play, not you're going to learn. No, you're going to do this. Like, it gives so much excitement to the listener to feel like, I'm going to be able to do this. Like, so changing the language is really important as well. Today, you're going to play C chord. Let me show you how, or whatever the case may be. And those videos that were filmed on an iPhone 4S with a super echoey room still get views today. So,
Well, once you start getting something ranked, it's great because it's just recurring. And I think that's the great thing about YouTube versus Facebook or Instagram or
mhm.
TikTok, which is just like churning through content so quickly.
Mhm, mhm,
YouTube is still a search engine. And so
mhm.
coming back to the start, how did you sort of, I know you said you started with YouTube and making some AdSense dollars. How did you sort of, as a content creator, make your first $1,000? How would like you advise someone who's maybe got a day job, they've got a passion for creating content around a topic or something? How would you go about, suggesting how they would make their first $1,000?
People love PDFs. They love,
Okay.
love, love, love PDFs. And this is something that is so often neglected by my YouTube and Instagram counterparts, the people who create the same kind of content that I do. The difference is that every single video I make has a PDF attached to it. And it can, I mean, I don't care if you're teaching how to change a faucet. Like, make a PDF about that, because you know what? Once the video's gone and somebody wants to go back and look for instructions, they have to scan through the video and drag their finger across the screen and try to find that spot. But if you have that PDF that they can just look over, oh my goodness, that's going to be so awesome. And if you want to add a QR code to your PDF so that they can scan it and come back to your video, whoa, amazing. Or you can add a link within the PDF to take them back to the video if they want to watch it again. Like, PDFs are so powerful, but if you just list that you have free PDFs for them, they're going to swarm to that. So the first real money that I made was when I started attaching PDFs to my videos.
Mm. And you started selling the PDFs or giving them for free?
So I had a few once my channel had grown a little bit and I had gained a regular audience that started really looking out for me and started really caring about my success with the platform, they said you should start a Patreon. And I felt really awkward about starting a Patreon because I didn't want to ask people for money. And people were saying the value that I'm getting from your videos, I want to pay you for it. And so it took a while for me to start Patreon. And once I did, I just made it like the lowest amount that I could, which was $1 at the time. And people started coming over and like I think I made like $200 because I started it near the end of the year. I think it was like November or December or something. And I saw money start to come in and I thought, wow, people really like this. So the first few years that I started the YouTube channel, all of my PDFs were free. And the videos that have those PDFs, they're still free. And once I started Patreon, I raised not raised the prices, but I created PDFs that were Patreon only PDFs. And I started putting it all in one section, in one big growing PDF document called the Ukulele Bible. And so people got really excited about being able to download the Ukulele Bible, which now is like hundreds and hundreds of pages long. But
That's awesome.
that's how my Patreon community started growing.
Okay. And so as a content creator, I can imagine it's kind of hard to decide what to include in your Patreon to charge for versus what to keep for free. Because you
Mhm.
obviously want to still have some free stuff to keep getting discovered, but you also want to still offer some value to your Patreon members.
Mhm.
How did you sort of break up the stuff that you would do for free versus the stuff that you would put in your Patreon and there would be a membership fee for?
Mhm. It's the same formula that I use for having my channel grow. I started watching other people who were killing it in their own separate niches, whether it was vlogging, technology, makeup. I wanted to see who's the top of the top in these niches, not in my niche, because I don't want to be like the best person in my niche. That for me is a ceiling. I want to know who's the best like in the world around different platforms. I was also watching PewDiePie a lot at the time because he was the number one YouTuber. Like I wanted to learn from the top. And with Patreon, I saw that a lot of podcasts are at the top of the earnings, and a few of them are crime, like true crime podcasts. And I started listening to them and their value proposition for Patreon on their episodes and what they give for free to their Patreon members. And one of the main things that most will offer is a time when they can tune in and watch the creators live through a Zoom or a Skype or something like that. Very personal. So, and then the other true crime podcast that also does really well, Crime Junkie, they offer a Patreon only episode every month. So it's an incentive to stay every month because there's going to be something shared there that's not shared for anywhere else. And they also offer their content ad free. So on podcasts, they all recommend like a mattress or HelloFresh or something. Um, but on Patreon, they remove those ads so that it's just the content. And so I upload my Patreon videos, my Patreon only videos. I upload them to YouTube, but I turn off monetization so that they won't get any ads. And so the videos that they get that are exclusive Patreon only videos, there's no ads. You click and you start playing right away. And in those videos that I share for only my Patreon community, I say, this video is only for the Patreon community. It's an exclusive. Thank you so much for being a member. Let's get started. And so that's my little short intro. Sometimes I don't even do an intro just to really bring it to like value, like this is what you clicked for. There's no advertising, and I just get right to the video. And then at the end, I'll say, thank you so much for being part of the Patreon fam. And in the description of the video, when I share it, I say, this is only for patrons. It's not shared anywhere else, but here on Patreon, thank you so much.
Got it. Because you have to embed your YouTube videos into Patreon, don't you? And so do you have that as like an unlisted video or something so that general people can't see it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's an unlisted video. And now that my database has grown a lot more, I created a spreadsheet that is sent to new patron members. And so in that spreadsheet, I've divided it by PDFs and patron only content, and then searchable YouTube content in general. And so they get all of this resources that they can tap into right away. So if they want to learn how to play,
instant value as soon as they sign up.
Exactly. You've signed up, here's everything you have access to immediately. And I'm always I'm thinking about buyer's remorse right away. What would give somebody buyer's remorse? So, well, it's like maybe not being greeted, not receiving the value that you expected, and they would probably leave. So I try to combat that by giving them value as soon as possible.
Nice. You truly are a Patreon expert.
Thank you.
These are all great tips. I think, first off, looking at who's doing really, really well and getting some ideas for there on what type of things you should include in your Patreon, like that's genius. And then, providing value straight away. Like, how do you make that purchase seem insignificant because there's so much value in that first month? Is there anybody on Patreon, apart from those two crime shows, that you're like, hey, these guys are doing really, really good job at, keeping their audience engaged and producing good quality perks for their Patreon users? Is there anybody that comes to mind that you're like, these guys are really good at doing that?
Yeah, there is another musician who also teaches ukulele like I do. Her name is Cynthia Lynn, and her community is also very strong. I think it's bigger than mine. And she's really doing well because she's found a way to connect with her audience on a personal level. She's even toured, which I've never toured, but she's toured, and I attended one of her events, and people who are patron members get exclusive perks with attending events. I believe they get to buy the tickets first, and if they sell out, well, they're sold out. And it is impressive, and she has community managers who will help her run the event, and that's pretty cool too. So the Cynthia Lynn squad is really, really strong and really supportive. And it doesn't.
Okay, well, we're going to blur out her name and tell everybody to go to yours first.
No, it's cool. It's cool. That's the ukulele community, though. We all like send each other a lot of love and support. That's what I think that's why I've been in here for so long. It's that the ukulele community is really supportive, really exciting, really warm and friendly. And a lot of the ukulele content creators, we've all collaborated with each other at some point or recommended each other because we all have such different musical tastes that it's really fine if you go to another channel, because I'm more of like teaching the classic rock stuff, and Cynthia's more of teaching like the classic ballads for people who love to sing, especially females who like to sing. And then my friend Tyler teaches a lot of blues. Like there really is something out there for everyone.
So you guys have niched even within the ukulele teaching niche. So that's really granular. Okay, that's awesome. And then is there anything that you learned along the way in creating and growing your Patreon account, like mistakes or things that you did that you wish you hadn't, anything that new Patreon users should avoid?
I think that new Patreon users should avoid the temptation of placing a $1 Patreon level. My friend Abby Lyons, who has a growing Patreon community now, her Patreon community was quite small a few years ago. And she's one of the friends that I was nudging, like, Abby, you really need to be doing more here. Like, there's a really big opportunity that you're missing out on. And so she started attending the Patreon summits and forums that they have for people to learn from them. And they learned that people are more likely to remove or cancel their subscription if yours is a $1 subscription. Something about raising it even to just $2 communicates to the user that yours has more value. And so I thought, well, then my base membership price is going to be $5 then. And I really haven't looked back. And I let the people who were paying $1 be grandfathered in. So if you entered at the $1 level, you can continue getting everything for that $1 because you were an early adopter. And I really appreciate that. So,
Yeah. Well, that's a nice perk as well.
and I
It's like they
communicated
would
that.
probably won't cancel.
Exactly. I let them know, like, if you start at the $1 level, you can remain at the $1 level because you are here, you believed
And
in
never
me,
cancel.
and you can never leave. Yeah, and I still have them in there, which is so awesome.
That's really good. And do you find that your Patreon audience is more engaged than your social media or free audiences?
I do, and I didn't know how it would all pan out, but now that the quarantine has ended, there was a
Mhm.
ukulele festival I was invited to perform at, and it was still pretty
Nice.
small because it wasn't advertised a lot, but
Mhm.
I would say there were 40 people in attendance. So it was really small. I would say like 7 of them were my subscribers who went to see me, and they were
Wow.
all Patreon members.
That is
So
crazy.
your Patreon members will be your super, super, super fans, like your hardcore
Yeah.
fans. And
And that's crazy because they have to be in the same location as you as well, because
yeah,
Patreon is obviously worldwide.
yeah.
You can join your Patreon from anywhere, but that's
Mhm.
like 7 people showing up who are in, like, driving vicinity of wherever that
Right.
event was.
Right, and you know what? This is gonna be, and I know my privilege here is going to not apply to everyone. But if you can travel to the countries where you have a lot of listeners, even if you break even or if it costs you a few $100 in the end, I would say do it because it's gonna seem like it's costing you money now, but on the back end, it's going to pay off. So I have a pretty big community in Germany and I have a lot of German patrons. I don't know what song I must have taught that like brought in a German audience, but they are hardcore. So I went and taught a workshop in Berlin and I think there were like 40 or 50 people who attended, which was so
Wow.
awesome.
So this is a workshop you set up specifically for your Patreon members?
Actually, a ukulele shop, a ukulele was it a ukulele shop? No, it's a ukulele brand. They set it up for us, and, I contacted another ukulele creator that was also in Europe, and I said, "We should meet up and do it together and promote it," and so I think that's why we had, like, a solid 40, 50 people from, like, countries that both of us weren't from, and people came out to that, and it was like a full day event. We even like went over and got pizza together. We took our ukes, we played on the street, and it was such a fun and memorable experience. And that's just like 3 years ago. Those people still follow my channel. They still participate in the community. They're buying the merch. So I don't think I made any money at the end, when you factor in flights and lodging, but they're still Patreon members and they're buying the merch, they're consuming the videos. So I think and at the grand scheme of things, it did make me money. And I was just contacted by the Berlin Uke Fest 2 days ago and asked if I could teach a workshop virtually. And I said, yes, of course. So any opportunities that you can take to be there for the audience that watches you, like you might have like a random pocket of viewers from the Philippines or Brazil or wherever it is. Find a way to communicate that you love their support and show love for their
Mhm.
country.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you're looking in your Patreon account to see which cities have, the most Patreons or followers, sort of thing. Is that how
uh,
you're deciding which your popular places are?
no, I whenever we do live Zoom sessions, as
Mm.
I'm giving everyone the first few minutes to come in, I don't like to say, okay, I'm going to give everyone a chance to come in because that's disrespectful to the people that were there on time, right? You're wasting their time.
Yep.
So I'll
Mhm.
do, everybody let me know where you're watching from, and I'll see all of these cities in Germany, Germany,
Mm.
Germany. I have a pretty big audience growing in Canada. So Canada's next on my
Okay.
list of places to travel to because of that. And
Yeah.
again, I'm not looking to make money on these travel experiences. It's to really
Mhm.
show the audience that I care, that I see them, and that I want to create opportunities for us to meet.
It's really it's really a good idea to partner up with a local store or a local organization as well, because that really probably helps keep the cost down, and it
Mhm,
also helps with the promotion of it, because you can
mhm,
obviously promote it on your end. But if you've got a partner or a
mhm.
store or a brand that's also involved and they help promote it, it's probably a really good collaboration event.
That was huge, and it
So
took
that's genius
so
too.
much of the stress off because I didn't have to look for a venue. I didn't have to figure out parking or how people were gonna get to the place. I didn't have to figure out
Hmm.
even charging for the event. Like, they took care of everything. It really was a matter of me showing up, and I didn't know, like, how do you show up as a YouTuber to the place where you're gonna host something? So I just walked into the shop and started looking at ukes, and they're like, "Bernadette?" So
Aren't you supposed to be taking the class?
So I mean, I don't know, and even the first time that I got like quote unquote recognized, I didn't know how to handle it.
Mm,
I don't know it. You kind of learn along the way, but it's
nice.
really great, like you said, to partner with a local business, it's gonna create a partnership that will last a lifetime. Lifetime.
Yeah. And I think the more niche you are, like the stronger those relationships are
Mhm,
over a long period of time
mhm,
too.
mhm.
So, there's only probably a handful of ukulele shops in Germany, but you'll probably be right the first person they talk to anytime they have promotions or events happening
Yeah.
that they would love to share with your audience.
They're
So I'm sure that
huge just
relationship
in
is strong.
Europe, so and yeah, the relationship is strong with the ukulele shops because, you also want to bring them business. If there are people buying ukuleles, then there will be
Mm,
people going to YouTube to watch my videos. So
yeah.
it's really a ecosystem.
Yep. And one of the big questions we always get, actually, first off, you said that there were Patreon summits and places to learn about Patreon.
Mhm.
Where did you learn about Patreon? Are these summits physical? Are they digital? Like, where did you learn all this?
The summit, I attended one and I clicked out of there in like 3 minutes because the creator that was hired to join in did exactly what I said you don't want to do, which is I'm gonna wait for people to check it. I was like, oh, I threw my arms up. I was like, I'm out because like I don't have time for this. Like, I have a lot to do. I have a lot to create, and everyone's busy. You can't waste my time like that. But my friend Abby, that I mentioned earlier, that I told her she was missing an opportunity by not focusing on Patreon a little bit more. Um, she attended a few of them, and what she was sharing with me seemed like it was great information for beginners. So I definitely recommend that. But honestly, just learning how other people promote their Patreon communities. I joined the Patreon communities of two of the true crime podcasts patronship levels just because I wanted to see, like, what do I get as a Patreon member, and I wanted to see their evolution. And so when their merch launched, they first promoted it only with the Patreon community. So they got first dibs.
Exclusivity.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they would get the episodes a day before, the ones that would go public, and the ad-free ones that I mentioned as well. And then ideas for future episodes came from the Patreon community. So that's again, like, you're impacting what's happening on the big podcast just by being a Patreon member. So I do that a lot with my channel too. I'll say Patreon member asked for this, so I'm making a whole video for YouTube for this. And sometimes I'll put the name of the Patreon member or I'll say it. And I just released a video yesterday that's called This is Why It Hurts When You Play Guitar and How to Fix It. And in the video, I mention, okay, Patreon member Melinda asked this question. Patreon member Shelly asked this. Like, I mentioned all of those Patreon members and they sent me private messages like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. So, of course, like, they're excited and it reinforces that their Patreon membership is worth it and it's valuable, but they've just become part of the channel in a different way. And so I hope to communicate to the people watching who were on the fence about joining Patreon, like, oh wow, like, she really listens to her Patreon audience. Like, I'm gonna join. And I'm really grateful to see that people join regularly. Another really important thing to turn on as a feature is I would recommend someone who's just starting off because you get two options for people to pay you per creation or per month. I would say per month, and then turn on the opportunity for them to save money by signing up for a yearly subscription. A few of my friends have that off because then it discounts, I think, the cost of one of the months. And I'm like, are you not seeing that you get someone for a year? And then another one of my friends just will not listen to me when I tell him to turn it from per creation to per month because he's like, no, on the months I work more, I get more. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like you can have a steady income and no matter how much you're delivering value. But anyway, if I can beat it into the audience that listens to this podcast, I will. Please, please, please.
Okay, so that was enable annual plans
Yes.
and then do monthly payments,
Yes.
not per creation.
Yes.
Got it. And I think a few other takeaways on this were types of things you can do in your Patreon account.
Mhm.
So it's exclusive content, early content, much more personal question and answers,
Mhm.
interviews, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Early access to events or exclusive access to events.
Mhm.
Is there anything else I missed that is a good idea to include in your Patreon?
Something that I've started doing recently because I'm not the best ukulele player by far. I'm actually kind of very average. And my viewers say that that's one of the reasons they watch my channel. It's because they watch me fumble with them. Like, I feel like I'm learning with a friend. So I leave the mistakes in my videos. I'm like, wait, no, I did that wrong. Let me try again. That has worked so well because they're like, okay, she's not so far ahead of me that it's unattainable. So I would say leave those real human moments in your content, whether it's Patreon or just in general. Leave those because those are the moments that make people go, oh, I do that too. And if you can get your people to relate to you, it'll be so valuable. But also mention your Patreon members by name. And I call them the Patreon fam. And someone joined Patreon. It was a few months ago this happened, but I created a vlog. And, as creators, we share so much that I think it's almost like there are some things you just keep to yourself, right? And for me, I share everything in this room, but my house, I really haven't shown. And so I showed my Patreon members how I was recording a video and my husband fell with our newborn baby down the stairs. And so we put the house up for sale that weekend and we bought another one. And so I recorded a vlog of us going to see houses and I shared that only on Patreon. And then I shared when we got the call exactly when we got the call that our offer for this house was rejected, and then they changed their mind and accepted, and then how we it was a mess when we came in here, like, there was 5 types of floors, the rats had taken over because it's out in the country, there's, like, no house anywhere nearby. In the process of remodeling. And I only shared that with the Patreon community. And so that there was a new Patreon member who joined and said, when you say Patreon fam, you really do mean it, huh? And I was like, oh, I'm so happy. So that's one of the things that I do. The other thing, and the reason why I mentioned that I'm not anywhere as good as other ukulele players, is that I will call those ukulele players to do a Patreon only exclusive workshop. And yes, and so we're getting an exclusive workshop. For example, one of my friends, his name is Boris Mogilevsky, and he's out in Europe, and we found a time that would work for both of us. And he taught percussive ukulele, like how to make your ukulele sound like a drum. And he gave PDFs only to my Patreon members that were watching, and people were so excited. Could they join his Patreon community? Sure. But they're in mine and they're getting the value, so why not? And so every month I was like, all right, once a month, that's what we're adding. We're going to bring a new artist that's going to teach us something that I could never teach you how to do, but you're going to get it here, even if I don't teach it.
And you just do that over like a Zoom or a Google Hangouts or something?
Yeah, it's on Zoom, and I offer the replay as ad free for the people who couldn't attend the live workshop. And
Oh,
that's only
interesting.
for the Patreon members as well. So I'll record the meeting, I'll upload it to my YouTube channel as unlisted, and then I'll share it as one of the things that you can have access to.
Interesting. Okay. And this is one of my last questions here. So one of the big kind of question marks that always comes up with anybody who's building an audience or a Patreon, how do you acquire your Patreon fans?
Mhm.
Like how do you keep growing that Patreon community?
This is something that is a great question because everyone wants to know, but nobody asks. And the answer is, huh. Well, first of all, you have to ask people to join your Patreon community. But something that I learned from another website called Teachers Pay Teachers, where it's like where I've made my first $4 from PDFs, is I attended a workshop on how to make money as a teacher author. And they said you should think of your product as an Amazon ad and you should list all of the things they get and say it like that. Here's what you get. And so when I started listening to the true crime podcast and looking at other people that were performing well on Patreon, they say that here's what you get when you sign up. Instantly, when you sign up, you get access to blah, 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 400 episodes or 200 pages of content or weekly lessons, whatever it is that you're offering, and say it in those words. Not, don't say, oh, I have made 200 pages. No one cares. Tell me what I get. Like what am I getting when I buy, So but a little known secret is that I started calling my community Ukelandia, not my Patreon fam, but my community. I started calling them Ukelandia, and I created a Facebook group for people to share videos of themselves as they were on their ukulele journey. And I told my YouTube creator friends, like, you're welcome to be there, but this is not a place to drop your latest YouTube video. And so I don't allow links on Ukelandia because I want the Facebook algorithm to be on our side, and it doesn't like it when you take people out of the platform. And I encourage people to share their journey. So now the 85-year-old grandma who's picked up a ukulele for the first time in her life and is singing these songs that I've never heard because they were popular during her time, or they were popular during her dad's time, and it's a song that she holds dear to her heart, takes a selfie video at the most unfavorable angle and uploads it and gets 200 likes because everyone's like, yes, because it's raw, it's evergreen, it's interesting, it's fun. And is she a virtuoso? No, of course not. But that's what's so fun about it, that it's just like someone who's just taking on a new hobby at 85. And it's so exciting to see somebody fail and work at it and post, and people will post over and over and over again, and we've seen people improve, and we've seen people appear in each other's videos and now in each other's albums. Like it's amazing. So the community started with a few tens and then hundreds, and now we're at, I think, 11,000. But we promote um we promote a lot of community. I've chosen like 8 admins for the group, and I gave them the admin status, not moderator status, because I wanted them to take over ownership over that group. And they're the ones that are telling people you should join the Patreon community. I didn't have to do it. And my Patreon community, they were the first ones to join that group because your super fans will do anything that you're doing. Like they want to be just connected to you and they're really excited. And it can be 2 super fans in the beginning, but like really value them because these are the people that are going out and telling their neighbor and the lady they met at the store and the person that they go to church with. Like they're the ones that are talking about you and they're bringing in people. So now, thankfully, I'm so glad I did not name Ukelandia Bernadette Teaches Music, because now it comes up on recommended when someone's searching for ukulele groups on Facebook. That one comes up. And so people come in there and somebody will say, Bernadette, tap this on the channel. Here's my rendition of it. And someone will comment, who's Bernadette? And everyone will be like, oh my goodness, well, hello. So I don't have to do any of the work now. I have my community there. So I think people really overlook Facebook as one of the places where you can grow. Creating community, it's a private group. If someone even is like bullying or says something like, well, I'm just being brutally honest. No, you lack tact. You're out. Like, I have no patience for those people. They're booted, they're blocked. We block a person a day. I don't care because I want everyone who's posting and being vulnerable and sharing their progress to feel exactly comfortable, to feel at home, to feel like this is their tribe. They're going to be cheered on. So, Facebook has been huge for my channel and it has helped so much. So I have a Facebook like page that is called Bernadette Teaches Music, and I've started uploading my videos on the same day that I do YouTube. I upload it to Facebook. I don't share it. I don't embed. No, no, no. I upload, and I've forgotten about some of the videos, and I'll come back and I'll see 60,000 views, and I'm thinking that's more than I have on YouTube for that video. So if you're making the content, just upload it to Facebook to a like page. Just add a really nice description of what is in the video. But I think that auto generated captions are. I think I'm speculating that they're also telling Facebook what your video is about, so it's starting to recommend it. I really do think Facebook is trying to do, be the biggest platform out there. So if it's trying to grow, why not ride that boat
Feed it.
on the way up? So I've started using
Wow,
Facebook
interesting.
a lot, a lot, a lot.
Okay, super interesting. Yeah. Well, I think in general, I think a lot of it is you have your social media accounts, you have your social media communities, your free communities. That's kind of what feeds the paid communities. And
Yeah.
it's only, maybe going to be 1 to 10% of those people move from free to paid, but that 1 to 10% is all you need to make that super fan group.
Really, really, it's all you need. And uh, I have a Patreon member. Her name is Jill, and we were in a Zoom lesson, and she had this device. I don't know where it's at right now, but she had this device, and when you put it on the tuning pegs of your instrument and you pick your string, it detects whether it's out of tune or not, and it winds the string for you. And she shared that with us, and we were like, "Wow, that's really cool." I loved it. That's all I said. And she asked me for an address that I felt comfortable sharing, like a PO box. And with some Patreon members, I am on the level where, like, I know that I would love to have them over on a Sunday. So I gave her my address. She sent me that device. It's called a Rode, and it's like a $200 or $300 device. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, this is a really nice gift, like, I have to open it on camera." So I didn't open it for the longest because I had to open it on camera. So I recorded a vertical video of me, like, using the device for the first time, and I posted it to, like, Reels or YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I hardly ever post on TikTok, but I posted it. It was like a 30-second video of me having the device tune my instrument for me. And then I went to dinner with my family. My friend Ricky contacts me and he's like, dude, your video's doing so well. Normally, my videos on Instagram will get 8,000 views overnight. For me, that's like it's an average video. That one had 25,000 in a few hours, and I was like, and he's like, "Dude, and it's blowing up on TikTok," and I checked and it had 100,000. And he's like, "Okay, stop what you're doing. Let's make it go viral." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's
How do you
like,
do that?
"Exactly." He's like, "Okay, go to whatever is becoming the top comment right now and respond to it." I was like, "Okay." So I did, and I did that for the top like 5 comments.
Mm.
And I woke up the next day and it had 1 million views. And
Wow.
and on
It's
Instagram, I
crazy.
got like 370,000 views. I don't know how I did on YouTube Shorts. I forgot to check. But
Yeah.
it was it was crazy. Like, and Ricky, my
Mm.
friends, like, just go and make video responses to the comments on TikTok, and it 17 and a
Oh,
half
so the
minutes.
response you did was a video response.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, he said
I suppose that's super personal.
yes. And whenever anyone's watching the viral video, they tap to the comments and they see that you've done a video response, they can go and watch that video next. So the one that went viral did really well, and the one that answers the first comment, I think got something like 100,000. This is a lot for me because my videos, they stay in like the 20,000 range after they've grown, So to have anything like that, so then I thought, well, maybe people want me to review tech. So I had another ukulele that had its own speaker built in, like no amplifier, and that got 200,000 views. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is the formula. But honestly, it's fun going viral, but it doesn't really pay the bills. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back to making Patreon content because that's where I like, it's fun to go viral, and I'll do it every once in a while. Now, when I get new gear, like this guitar behind me that has a hole on the side, I made a video about it and it got 100,000 views in the first week. So now I know the formula for like getting lots of views, but you have to choose. Do you want a lot of views or do you want to make an income? And so for me, both are fun, but I focus on the things that bring an income, which for me, it's Patreon and AdSense and brand sponsorships and that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's so funny. You're just like, oh, yeah, I know how to go viral, but I
Now
only
I
do it
know.
sometimes.
Now I know, but it's like, oh, but it's fun. It's so fun because, of course, you make a video, you want everyone to watch it. But
Hmm.
then it's like, okay, I'm getting a lot of comments, a lot of hate comments too, because if a video is
Yeah.
going viral and someone knows if they make a really popular hate comment, then they'll get traffic. So I'm just
Hmm.
like, oh, I don't want this attention today.
Don't want to deal with that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't want to deal with the hate, all the
Exactly.
trolls.
Exactly. People were like, if you were a true musician, you wouldn't need a tuner. And so
Oh.
yeah, and I've never responded to a hate comment. I usually delete them. But I was like, this is TikTok. And I was like, you are so ignorant. You don't know that there are people out there with arthritis that struggle with the tuning part of it because it's such a micro movement to turn your fingers that way. So if it's not for you, just swipe next. And so, of course, that video got a lot of views. And I'm never that sassy, I always try to be
Wow.
sweet and professional and welcoming.
Yeah.
But I
Kill them
was
with kindness.
I did not. I'm like, who is this? This is not me. I mean, it is me, but it's not my YouTube persona. So I try to stay away from TikTok.
Wow. No, that's amazing. That's great tips there and great insights into, how to better respond to stuff, how to create content that people are interested in and
Mhm,
engaging in. So I
mhm.
think that's super valuable, like that you've learnt that and taken that away from,
Yeah,
TikTok it being a very new channel.
yeah, yeah, and
So undiscovered still.
and it all came from a gift from a Patreon member. Thanks to her, my video went viral, and like there were people who did follow my stuff and now they're Patreon members, because they're like, oh, wait,
Mm.
this is a teacher. Oh, wait, hold on. She
Mhm.
teaches ukulele. Oh, she has a Patreon community. And so that did serve as a
Mm.
funnel. And
Mhm.
recently I got another package in the mail that I'm
Nice.
waiting to open on camera.
You're gonna have to do an unveiling video.
Right? Who knows what's in here? So I'm excited to see.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And, I've got to say, thank you so much for sharing so much. I think everybody's got so much value out of this. If you are a content creator, if you do have an audience, Bernadette shared so many tips on how to create, your super fan group, how important that is, all the different ways to make it unique. But really, where can we find more about you? If people and listeners are looking to find out how to play ukulele or just find out how to learn more about you or get in touch with you, where do you want to direct people?
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been a really I felt honored, I thought like, wait, what? Like someone wants to listen to me talk about something other than ukulele?
You got so much good things to share.
Thank you. I think that if everyone just takes on the idea that, hey, I'm a beginner at this, but I can get good at it. I can learn how to do this like other people can. The only thing separating you from that is a little bit of effort and some time. Um, but I have had more and more people ask me questions about content creation and how to make it a sustainable business. So I will be taking on people that I coach. And so, yeah, so I'll send you the info and maybe you can add that to the show notes. But the best place to really see my content is Bernadette Teaches Music on YouTube and on Patreon as well. And and then I'm Plazi on Instagram, Plazi. That's going to be on Instagram. And if you stay tuned to the stories on Instagram, that's where I'm going to share once I have the coaching side available, because I really believe that there are people out there that could be bringing so much value to the world, and they don't, because they don't know how to start, or they need some kind of mentorship, and I would love to help people. And so what I'm going to offer is that I take a look at your social media, give you some actionable tips, and then if you want to come back after a month or two of applying those tips for another revisit, then we will do that. So it's going to be something that you can come and go as needed.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea, because I think a lot of content creators, they don't necessarily know how to do all of this, and they don't think about a lot of these things. But really, there's such value that can be unlocked if they just
Mhm.
get told what to do, or they get pointed in the right direction.
Mhm.
So, no, I think it's super valuable. And Bernadette, really so happy that you came on and shared all of this information with everybody. I think there's so many takeaways from it. So everybody listening, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment and let us know what you liked, what you got out of this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and, keep telling us that you love or hate these episodes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernadette. Appreciate it. Hey guys, we put a bunch of effort into making great content for this YouTube channel. So please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, and tell a few friends about it.